Woo! All right, so this will be our virtual friends for now. So, yes? I did not call your name. Levi, where are you? Did they add you? They must have added you. Okay, that's fine. What's your seat number or your stand number? 41. Very good. Okay. Spicy. Okay. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Wind Ensemble. Oh, where's mine? There you are. So we are obviously in the auditorium. This is where we're going to be for a while until it's safe for us to go back to normal and be in the band room. This is your seat that you should always come in and sit in. So for all the things that we're going to do, this is where you should sit. When we have instrument cases out, you're actually not going to bring your case in here. And we'll talk about all that stuff later. You're going to keep your cases back in the storage area, and you just bring your instrument into this spot. If there's some problems, I know larger instruments, tenor saxes, bass clarinets, it might be a little bit snug in there. We might have to try to figure out a different place to put you, but we'll figure that out when we're able to play. Which of course brings the next question. Hey, when are we going to be able to play? Soon, I hope. There's always things that are happening and moving. We are putting together a proposal that we're going to get on the board meeting, which is happening on Monday, the 17th, to get them to pay for instrument bell covers and special masks that you can wear while you're playing your instrument that have a slit in them for you to put a mouthpiece into. The masks for your instrument, which are basically what bell covers are, and again, all of this stuff is based off of the research that's come out of UC Boulder and Johns Hopkins to decrease the aerosols and droplet transmission that's coming from you, your instruments, and everything else so that we can play and keep everybody safe. So we're presenting all that at the board meeting on the 17th. Once that goes through, because they basically can't say no, really. I mean, they might, but that'd be stupid. Then we'll get that ordered, and when those things come in, that's when we'll be able to play. So at that point, that's when we know that we can do this safely. Mrs. Jocham has done a ridiculous amount of work, and she had a meeting with the HVAC engineer for this building to determine what the air replacement rate in this room is. Air replacement rate is how often the air cycles in and out of this room, and about every 6 minutes is when the air is replaced in this room with the air handlers. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean that it's a comfortable temperature, and you'll notice that it's not like, it doesn't mean that it's cool in here, it just means that there's a lot of air circulation, which is good. And then we also got updates on what the filtration system is in here, and the filtration system is what it needs to be so that the air is being filtered as it's being exchanged in order to filter out most of the things that would cause transmission to happen. So, once we get the masks, once we get the instrument covers, you will be as safe playing in this room as you can possibly be. And with the distances that we are at right now, realistically speaking, this is probably going to end up being like the safest class that you're going to have, even though we're going to be blowing air into tubes at each other. So, you know, what? Tubes. Yeah, those of you who do not blow air into tubes to make music, i.e. people who hit things with sticks, this isn't nearly as big a deal for you because, you know, you hit things with sticks. Make sure that you have your own sticks to hit things with. There's not going to be any sharing of equipment of any kind under any circumstances. That means that you might need to get yourself a pair of mallets, probably a soft pair of yarn mallets, so that you are not sharing the stuff that we have. When we do have to share equipment, like toys, you know, random percussion toys, we'll have to wipe them down after every time we use them. As long as you are not touching things like marimbas and snare drum heads, they will be fine. So don't lay all over the instruments, which you shouldn't do anyway, but if you do, then we have to clean them. Interesting. The bells are meaningless. By the way, that note is a D, da. So if you're curious, yes, I found out the very first time I heard it. Yeah, that's the deal with when we're going to play. Now, does that mean that we're just going to sit here and do nothing until all that happens? No, we are going to do things. Next class, Monday, we will start in on chunk testing. I'm going to start passing out music to you and all that. Well, Smith, how are we supposed to do chunk testing if we can't play? Clap and count. Oh, yeah. And I'll get into what that means whenever we get into the syllabus here in a second, how that's all going to work. Yes, Heather. We'll talk about that in a second, but you don't have to worry about that. We're not going to reset things because that seems terrible. But we'll get to that in a second. Okay, do you have any other questions about the basics of where you're sitting and why you're sitting where you're sitting? Yes.
Why am I sitting back here and I'm all the way back here to play
Sure. I had mentioned to you a minute ago that that's where you're sitting based on assuming that you're going to play bass. That way you can step off to the side right there and be able to have your own little bass zone, and you're close to the person who will be playing the same kind of parts as you, the tuba. Whenever you're playing percussion, you'll move to percussion zone. Yee? Ha. I should mention too that there is kind of a traffic pattern in here. I meant to put more arrows in, I just didn't do it. The tape is even right here, and I just didn't. But that door should only be used as an entrance. That door should only be used as an exit. So, filter yourselves down and out and around. I know that's slightly annoying, but, just do it that way. So even if you need to go to the bathroom or whatever else, that way, that door. You can use that door if you really want to. Those of you who know where that door drops you out, go for it. If you're a freshman and you don't know where that door drops you out, go for it, Gus. Find out. Explore your space. Get lost forever. If there's like an emergency, like if we got to get out of here, fire or whatever, just go. Don't worry about traffic patterns at that point. It just doesn't matter. So along with that, in the very likely case that the band class before you, the 01 band class, is leaving, they will be leaving out that door and you will be coming in this door. So I'm just trying to keep everybody as separated as possible. So inevitably, when I forget what time it is and I run over time, which will happen, at least that way we don't have people trying to cross each other. Okay, any questions about all that crap? Great, let's get into Schoology and the Slilolobus. If you have a phone with you, and you probably do, remove it from your pocket and wield it. Wield it. All right. Hopefully you've already had this explained to you in an aggressive way, but if you go to scse.schoology.com, you will be able to log into your Schoology account. Make sure that you use your username. It's the same first part of the username, just with at scse.school at the end of it. And you should be able to find a slide or a course that looks exactly like this one. You won't see the rest of them unless you're in one of those other classes. So inside of this will be all of your information that you're going to need. Oh, hi. Oh, Elijah. Oh, nobody knows that song, do they? Elijah Rocks. Oh, that's a good song. Anyway, you know that song? Good. It's a cool song. So inside of the Schoology thing will be everything that you're going to need. It'll be updated all the freaking time. Right now, basic materials, just like a circle of fifths and a bunch of other stuff in there. You can see what's there. Your daily plans, announcement, and work, That is the slide, the big bright orange face-ripping slide that you see all at the beginning. I will keep all of those, so you'll be able to see exactly what we're doing every single day. So if you are sick, or if we're e-learning, or whatever, you can still keep up with what's happening. Yes, Kat? Huh? The what? Oh, okay. All right. So you can find all the information you need there. The syllabus is there, and then especially for my virtual friends, and all of you too if you want to, the daily recordings. This is where the recordings of each band class will be. So if you want to go back and relive a band class, you can go and watch. I will be recording literally every single band class in its entirety. So, yeah. This is a lot of crap that I'm going to have to be keeping up with. So please, if you have a question about something, look here first, please. I will also be updating the band website, scband.net. And if there's something super important, I'll put it up on the Facebook page and we'll email it out to you as well. So you have no excuse. You will be able to find as much information as you're possibly going to need. So between Schoology and all those other things, you'll be able to find what you're looking for, okay? And if I super goof, then you can just email me and say, hey, Smith, you super stupid goofed. Please update things. Thanks. Questions about Schoology? Nobody's favorite. You guys seem really quiet today. Yes? Huh? Say that again?
Last year, under the app section, you couldn't attach a Google slide or doc to it.
Yeah.
Does it let us do that yet?
Yeah, when I have a thing that allows you to submit things, yes, you'll be able to do the same thing. Yep. And there'll even be a video submissions and stuff like that too. So if you need to submit something like a recording or chunk test or something like that, you'll be able to submit all that stuff here through Schoology. Okay, let's get into the syllabus. Syllabus. Yes. Okay, so how are you going to be graded? Well, it's band class still, so you know you're going to get an A in this class, so as long as you are doing what you're supposed to do. It's that aspect of things has not changed. But the way in which you receive your A will be slightly modified. This is the change really, is I'm going to make you do chunk testing every week, okay? You have to pass one chunk every week. Exceptions for Ellie, we'll talk later. You've got stuff. I'm just gonna make yours worth more, basically is all it's gonna be, but yeah. So you are going to need to pass at least one chunk per week. For those of you who are here in class, that means that at the beginning of class, you need to let me know, hey Smith, I want to take a chunk test, so we can try to get you chunk tested. If you pass it the first try, yay, you're done with your chunk test that week. If you don't, the next day, next time we have band class, you can try again. If you pass it, yay. If you don't, okay. After that, you probably just need to start submitting them online through Schoology. Okay, so on the third attempt, you just need to send it through Schoology and pass it that way. Because I'm going to run out of time to go through and do this with everybody every time. For my virtual friends, you're going to submit your chunks to me virtually. There'll be a submission thing on the Schoology account for me to listen to and say if you passed it or not. So that's going to be your main participation grade. It's really hard to do a participation grade otherwise, so that's the way that we're going to do it. You can do more than one at a time, but I would strongly advise against that because, you know, we're going to be doing so many of these, you might as well just do one a week. Like, there's really no reason to try to blast ahead of things unless you just want to be that person, but just do one at a time, okay? Once you get to the master level things, you kind of get decoupled from this. You'll have to pass one per grading period, and that one will be worth 100 points. But you can do multiple attempts on it, so yeah. We, like Heather was asking, I think, I'm not gonna reset you on your chunk tests, because wherever you were is wherever we're gonna start again. It would be just evil of me to say, no, go back and do it all again. That just seems awful. If you were an 8th grader, I still have all of your chunk records from 8th grade, so that all transfers across, and we'll just get started on that. If you never did chunk, Brittany, did you ever do chunks? Yeah. So I'll just start you in an arbitrary place and let you move from there. Yes, Heather? Yeah. Yeah, there's platinum rhythms. Yeah, yeah. Yep. That's fine. I'll start you probably in the same arbitrary place that I start Brittany. What do you know? And then it's a race. Let's see who wins. So if you don't have your actual chunk sheets, if you've lost them because of everything, it's not a big deal. I'll get that stuff out to you. Next class, I'll have them a physical dead tree version for you. They'll also be up on the Schoology page too. So you'll be able to access them all that way. So that's going to be our like everyday sort of thing. That is, look, I will be transparent as to why I have laid it out that way. I am not convinced that we are going to be here together in person for a whole super long time, right? And doing one chunk per test when we're physically here in person just seems kind of annoying and silly. But if we're e-learning, it makes a lot more sense. Think about it. Think about it. So this is why I've done this, okay? So it might be annoying for a while we're in class, and that's fine. The worst case scenario is that I get to have a one-on-one with you to try to help with like little things and help you get better. My whole sort of ethos with this year is going to be about helping you as an individual get better as a musician. The focus is going to be less on ensemble, like the quality of the ensemble, and more on the focus on you specifically. Again, if you think about why, that should make a lot of sense, right? What fits in really well with this is the performances. So we have 4 performances that are going to happen. There's going to be 1 per grading period. The first one, which is in October, 100% is going to be virtual. Definitely it's going to be virtual. Well, how's that going to work? So, assuming, oh gosh, I hope, that we get Chromebooks by the time that we're supposed to, we have changed over your book fees for this class, which normally just goes towards purchasing sheet music, which we do not need any more of, to a program, like a big suite of programs that will run on your Chromebook. That stuff includes what's called a DAW, a digital audio workstation, that I'm going to teach you how to use. You're going to be able to use that to record yourself playing your instruments, playing your parts, and make them sound really good, and I'll teach you how to do all that stuff. And then you're going to submit those recordings to me for me to mix them all together to make our virtual band performance. So the focus on me as you as an individual, like the focus that I'm trying to give you on being better as an individual musician, makes a lot of sense because our ensemble is really just going to be made up of a bunch of individual recordings that have been put together to create a virtual performance. For my virtual friends, you folks who are at home, you will be able to participate in the same way. You'll get scanned versions of all the music that I pass out that you will be able to start rehearsing. You can be with us as we rehearse in class, and you can go along with us as I'm talking through the pieces that we're going to play. And then you record them at home, the same way that you folks are going to record your virtual band performances at home. So we're not going to do the recording here in person. We're going to do the recordings at home, and then you submit them to me that way. Again, you're like, well, but Smith, that seems really stupid. Like, how are we going to get big instruments and all that stuff home? I'm assuming that we're not gonna be here, okay? So we'll figure those kind of logistics out when the time comes, but I'm assuming that we're not gonna be here in person. Right. Da, da, da. So if that's a D, who thinks they can sing an A? If that's do, what's so? Come on, music theory question. Ooh, I heard it. Who sang that? Yeah, that should be an A. Do, re, mi, fa, sol. Oh, you sang a G. You sang the 4. You sang the fa instead of the lo. So that's all right. It's close. Anyway, music theory friends, the day is coming. Yes. So there will be 4 performances the first one will definitely be virtual. The other ones might be virtual, they might be physical. I don't know, and I won't have any way of knowing until we know what's going on with stuff. But all of the performances will work like that. We will rehearse, I will pass out and we'll rehearse music in person, just the way we always used to. There will be a really big focus on making sure that you understand how your individual parts work. And then I expect that you will record them at home. Those of you who've done marching band, you know that this space, from an acoustic standpoint, is hot garbage, right? And the sound delay from front to back in this room is crazy. The echo off these giant flat concrete walls is crazy. We are not going to sound good in this space as a band. It actually is better if like marching band, we're playing that way. It's worse when the sound comes from the audience up here, because this room is sort of designed at least for the sound to go this way. It's not designed for the sound to go that way. So we're gonna play in class all together, and we'll try to run through stuff the way we normally would, but just understand that it's gonna sound not great. And that's okay, because the actual performances will be recorded with you at home and then put into the computer that way. Does that make sense to everybody? I feel like I don't always explain that super well. I've explained this now 4 times, and I think each time I change it slightly to make it more clear. But any questions about it? Okay, all right. Each one of those performances will be worth 100 points, which will be roughly half of each grading period. So, what's it graded off of? You did good. The same way that every other performance that we've ever done has been graded. You did good, you have a grade, right? So, if you did what you're supposed to do, you get full points. It's not but you missed a note in your performance, you get it's not that, okay? It's not gonna be that. What you are going to find out once we start doing these individual recordings is the process of recording yourself. How many of you have ever recorded yourself playing a piece of music before? It is hot madness. What you figure out very quickly is that you are so harsh on yourself. When you listen back, you're like, oh God, I missed a note there. Oh, I was slightly early. Oh no, that note kind of went out of tune. I'll just do it again. Right. Yeah, right. And what you realize really quickly is that, oh, I should have practiced more. Because the kind of things that you can get away with in an ensemble setting, right? You know, oh, here comes that one part. Oh, I had to cough. And the rest of the ensemble just kind of makes it work. When it's just you recording just you, that doesn't fly. And it can be a very exposing and very beneficial thing for you to musically have to listen back to exactly what you sound like to figure out how to make it sound better. So, like I said, focusing on your individual improvement as a musician makes a lot of sense in that context. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Please understand that the determination between a physical and virtual concert will be communicated as far out as possible and as much as circumstances allow. Basically, I don't know when I'll know what it's gonna be. Each concert will just be prepared as best as it can, and then whenever I can figure out if it's gonna be virtual or online, I'll let you know right away, and we'll be able to start putting stuff together. There will be deadlines for when you have to turn in virtual performances, so if we do 3 pieces, and the entire thing needs to be delivered in, I don't know, October 2nd or December 5th or whatever is when I wanna have the concert happen, you will have deadlines where you have to turn in each of those 3 pieces. They won't be the same deadline because I'm not gonna be working on building each one of those 3 recordings at the same time. So like if we're doing 3 pieces, you might have one that's due 1 week, another that's due the next week, and another that's due the next week, all ahead of that December 5th concert, which is basically when I will release the video. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. Yes? Yes. Good luck. Wash your hands, please. Even more important now. Oh, by the way, if you need to go to the bathroom, just go to the bathroom. We don't have a drumhead Corona pass anymore. It was the cure. It almost certainly was the cure. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Next. Concert attendance, I mean, come on. If you submit your videos, you attended the concert. That's it. Semester final, don't worry, the finals are still here. They're not going anywhere. So we'll do them exactly the way we've always done them. You come in, play your major scales for me, and then that's it. If you're a freshman, I guess there's a couple of you who don't know this, you have to know how to play all 12 major scales from memory. You only actually have to play 3, but you don't get to choose the 3. So you have to prepare all 12 with your arpeggios up and down. Well, Smith, what if we're e-learning? Then we don't have to worry about it. And what if I'm a virtual student? Then I don't have to worry about it. Wrong. I will set up a Google Meet with you and me, and you will perform your scales right there in real time over Google Meet. So for virtual kids, that's how your final is going to work. If we're all e-learning, that's how your final is going to work. So you aren't going to be escaping your scale tests at the end. So all 12 major scales all the way through. We will practice those a little bit in class, so it's not like I'm just going to say nothing about them between now and then. But yeah, as always, it is on you to determine how good you're going to be at your scales. That has not changed at all, at all. Okay, then rules. The rules are super straightforward. Don't touch any instrument or thing that is not yours. That is even more true now than it has been, because then, you know, you got to wipe everything down and blah, 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 blah. I don't want to go through all that. There will be no shared instruments. So, you know, the tuba that you get, Devin, will be the tuba that you play, and no one else will touch it. For those of you who are playing school instruments, that's the exact same situation. You will get a school instrument, and that will be your instrument, and that's that. No one else will touch it or play it. I've got to figure out how we're going to use the storage room back there, but we'll get that figured out when it's time. You might want to, you might want to try to figure out a way that you can get it back and forth home. So if it's a larger school instrument and if it's called e-learning, then try to get your instrument home. And I understand that might be difficult, but try to. Percussion friends, I strongly recommend that you have your own practice pad. If you've left your practice pad in the band room, get it out of there, okay? You should just keep that with you, basically. Don't leave them sitting out. Same thing with drumsticks and mallets and all that stuff. Don't leave it in there. Bring it with you every day. If you don't have a stick bag by now, you really, really should have one. Let's see. And then the last rule is don't be a jerk, please. Your band kids, you're all wonderful people. I don't think there's going to be a problem. But like, for real, we don't need this to be any more annoying than it already is. Be nice to each other, please, and thank you. Okay, any questions about the syllabus? Yes, Devin?
We're picking up instruments. Will that, after we get everything set up, or
Yeah, right. There's no sense in bringing it home now until you need to.
I haven't played the tuba since, even before school.
I'm going to say this delicately. I am not going to assume that you and your instrument have had any real one-on-one time since March, okay? And if that's the case, good for you and good on you. But if that's not the case, it's what it is. And I mean, some of you didn't have a choice because your instrument was in this building and you were not with it, and like that's not your fault. I'm not going to hold any of that against you. Okay, I know you're going to be rusty. This is the wind ensemble, and like you guys should really know what you're doing, and I understand all that. But I also understand that the situation that we're in right now means that my expectations for like amazing, high quality, incredible band sound maybe down a little bit, right? And that's not to like insult you. That's because of reality, right? I think by the end of the year, especially if we really focus on you getting better as an individual, we can sound like a rockin' awesome band just the way that we're supposed to and the way that we always do. But I'm not going to expect that to happen on day one, okay? So don't worry, that's what I'm saying. And that goes for your virtual kids too. I understand. It's been a rough time, and for some people, it's been more rough than others. And playing your instrument has not always been the most important thing to do in that moment, and that's just real life, and that's okay. We're here now, we're together, we'll get there. Okay, cool. What else was I going to talk about? Get out of here, Schoology. Plans for this year. Well, that basically is that. So those of you who did what you were supposed to during e-learning last year in the spring, and a whole bunch of you submitted, one of the point options that you could do was, hey, go through our school music library and find yourself some pieces that don't suck. I'm going to start by going through that list and pass out the pieces that you said didn't suck. So next class, I will get music out to you guys. We won't be able to play it yet, but I'll get it to you, and we can listen to what it sounds like and all that fun stuff. We will do chunk tests in class, clapping and counting. I'll pass out all the chunks that you need, and then I'll give you, a bunch of time to look at them before I come around and start going at you with them. Yes? This isn't jazz band. Were you in jazz band yesterday? Okay, then we'll talk about that in jazz band tomorrow. We'll just get moving. So I'll try to have 2 or 3 pieces to pass out to you and that we can look at and listen to. Then we'll do chunk testing tomorrow. Or Monday. Cool. Any other questions from me? All right. Yes? You guys, oh yeah, because you don't have the rhythm things, do you? Right. That's true, but that's fine. We will do your snare stuff, and we'll just get a pad and do it on a pad. So bring a pair of sticks, percussion friends. Caden, if you want to do yours on percussion, just bring a pair of sticks, okay? Cool. Good question. Anything else? Okay. So unfortunately, I don't have really anything else that we can do today. So we can just sit and hang out for the rest of the time. Yes, Caden? I would prefer you guys, you don't have to sit this far apart from each other, but please keep a decent distance in between you, please. If you need to go to the bathroom, just go. Yeah, go ahead, Elijah. Virtual friends, I hope that you are doing okay. If you have any questions, you can email me and I'll try to get those answered for you, okay? I'm going to go down there and turn off your camera in a second. Okay. All right. Bye, virtual friends. virtual friends.